So I got my tractor back from the dealer on Friday, November the 3rd, 2017. They picked it up the previous Monday. So they had it from Monday through Friday. And I'm told by the mechanic that they replaced the cam. And I'll show you what that is in the parts manual. So they replaced the cam with a new one and made some adjustments. Okay, so the mower deck, I have it at the highest point. I raised it all the way up. So let's see how this thing rotates. If you look at my first video, which I'll have a link to below, you really need to see that so you can, I'm not going to go through everything again, but if you see that, you'll see what the issue was. Now look how easy this thing turns now. Look at that. Straight on through, 360 degrees. And when you take a look at that first video, you'll see it didn't do this. Beautiful. And now, when I put the deck down, there it is. It just went down just a hair. It's now at the top position that it would not attain previous when I had that problem. In fact, I'll tell you, this thing turns way better than it did when it was brand new. So I don't know whether there was an issue with it brand new. That it didn't turn this easy. Okay, so here is the cam that they replaced. This part right here. And that's what they originally put grease on. That wasn't the proper fix. So they put a new cam on. And I took my mower deck off this morning because it's when I'm not going to be cutting grass anymore this year. So, and I've never looked at it on my BX2380 because it was never an issue. And I've never really looked at this part, but I decided to take a look here and this unit since I had an issue. So I'm coming up on an angle here. I've got my work light over to the side to try to illuminate the area. But you see that air gap here? Right here, that gap between the cam and this other part. Right now, I've got the mower deck height to the highest point. It's all the way raised up, and the cam is set to the top position, but I've raised the unit all the way up. So now I'm going to go up there and lower it, and these two should mate at the top position. So now I've lowered it down, and as you can see, it's touching. As you would expect. So now that's set to the top position on the dial. So now you see I have it set to the 2-inch position on the dial. And so you can see how that sits on that cam. It's a little awkward. I'm underneath here trying to hold my light and hold this camera, so excuse me for the shaking of the camera. Couldn't really rig a tripod setup or any kind of a thing. And here we see it set to number 4 on the dial. And just for placement purposes, this is along the left frame rail of the tractor. And there's the rear tire. And here's the output spline shaft that the mower deck would go to. So there's that part that would hit the cam. And I'm going to show you. So here we have the outside of that shaft that is attached to. It's welded to the shaft. And it goes back up along underneath this guard. Comes out there, there's that shaft. And now we're coming out to the right side of the vehicle. And as you're looking at this, the front would be to the bottom of this video. the front of the tractor. But I just wanted to show that's what that's attached to. That hits that cam. That thick piece of metal there. And I'm going to show you in the parts manual how that thing looks, just to get a better view. So here you see the cam. This would be on page 174 of that manual. It's item number 10. Item number 20 is what they call the cam rod. And that goes up then to item 50, which is the dial for the cam. Okay, we're looking at page 172 of the parts manual. And right here in this area, it's a little hard to see because it would be a hidden feature because it's on the back side of that frame rail. This is the frame rail here. And you're looking, this is the left side of the vehicle. And so within this little circle I'm making is that heavy piece of steel that is welded to this shaft that I showed you that goes across the vehicle. And the front is here. This is the front. So that's that heavy piece of steel that when I showed you in the other videos, that's what would make contact with the cam. And again, it's a hidden feature here. You can kind of just barely see it behind here. But I just wanted to show that for maybe a little more clarity from the parts manual so that you get a little bit better idea. So this is page 92 of the shop manual, the service manual. And down here is where the cam would be. There's the cam rod shaft, and right there is the dial. So I just thought I would show that. And here is that heavy piece of steel that is welded to that shaft. There's the shaft. That's that lip that is welded. And then that's the part that would make contact with that cam as you rotated the dial.